The NCAA tournament for the first time in school history. The SWAC champs face Montana State on Wednesday. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Climate is king.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that caring for the community means caring about the climate. You might have heard that we announced a pretty bold 12-month, $2 million campaign to do 4 things. Increase climate literacy, turn up the volume on communities of color in the climate conversation, connect everyday people with the resources they need to survive and thrive, and highlight frontline climate justice crusaders of color throughout this year. KBLA Talk 1580 will be bringing you insightful interviews on all of our shows to help raise your climate IQ. Each quarter this year, we will also be hosting free climate events in various communities throughout the city with food, fun, and forward-thinking conversations. Thanks to partners like LADWP, Metro, Caltrans, the Sierra Club, the California Community Foundation, the California Endowment, AQMD, MWD, and more. You'll also be hearing more about a couple of national town halls broadcasting live from Los Angeles, to which you will be invited. And we'll be rolling out a robust social media campaign on all our platforms, as well as an outdoor media campaign, all designed to educate, enlighten, and empower you in our fight for climate justice.
We want cleaner air.
Caring about the community means caring about the climate. At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that we really can change the world if we care enough. 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 If we care enough.
I'm gonna make a change for once in my life. It's gonna feel real good. Gonna make a difference. Gonna make it right. As I turn up the collar on my favorite winter coat, this wind is blowing my mind. I see the kids in the street with not enough to eat. Who am I to be blind, pretending not to see their need? A sonorous disregard, a broken bottle top, and a one-man soul. They follow each other on the window, 'cause they got nowhere to go. That's why I want you to know I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways, and no message could have been any clearer. If you wanna make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change.
I'm Tavis Smiley, and I'm thrilled to have you tuned into our program today, and especially in this hour. And in this hour, a conversation with the legendary Catholic priest leading the faith community of St. Sabina, Father Michael Pfleger, who joins us live right now from the south side of Chicago, where he and others want to cancel this summer's Democratic National Convention if the federal government does not pledge more money for the unhoused. He also recently called on local and state government in Illinois, the land of Lincoln, to not fast track work permits for migrants, concerned that black workers making $15 or $16 an hour will be fired and replaced by a new $5 an hour slave labor. And Father Pfleger wouldn't be Father Pfleger if he wasn't in trouble with the Archdiocese. The Cardinal has refused to apologize for making St. Sabina and Father Michael Pfleger cancel Dr. Cornel West as a Black History Month speaker, something Dr. West has done annually for the past 25 years. So I look forward to another rich conversation with Father Michael Pfleger starting right about now. Father Pfleger, how are you, my friend? Good to hear your voice.
Hey, my friend. So good to hear your voice. I listen to you here in Chicago all the time, man.
I appreciate it.
Thank you for your consciousness.
No, I appreciate it. It's a blessing to be on WVON, and I love the fact that Father Michael Pfleger checks us out on VON. Thank you.
Absolutely,
Let me just start by asking, how are you? It's been too long. I haven't seen you. Been able to give you a big hug lately. I'll be in Chicago this summer.
Yeah. Are you gonna be in this summer?
Yeah, I'll be there for the convention. I'm covered live. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I might see you down there.
Yeah, something tells me
I'll be on the outside, but I may see you down there.
You know what? I'm gonna be on the outside with you, because where the drama is, that's where I want to be. I want to be where the action is, man. So I'll be on the outside with you. But you've been doing well otherwise, though.
Absolutely, sir. It's it's ongoing thought. We live in a crazy world and crazy times, and every day you get up and have to fight. The problem is there's just so many fights.
Yeah.
It's trying to just be focused because things are so bad in so many different arenas, man. And we've been taking on this, as you mentioned, the homeless issue over these last few months because, America has always abandoned and, in my mind, just failed the poor and the homeless. Homelessness has been in my mind, just a disgrace in America. And so we and us, with this convention coming, I think there's a window of opportunity here that all this focus, there's going to be, international focus on Chicago in August. And what we've been saying is, don't come here and with all your parties and your lobbyist parties and all your spending of millions of dollars here, and then the fact remains while you come in and then pull back out, and we're still in the same situation as we were before you came.
Yeah.
We have 68,000 homeless in Chicago that are Chicago residents. Then we have another over 36,000 of migrants who are here. And so we have close to 100,000 homeless in Chicago. And my point has been, Tavis, we found billions of dollars to send to Ukraine, billions of dollars to send to Israel. Well, plug that machine back in, and let's get the money to deal with homelessness in America. And you can start right here in Chicago. And don't come here and spend all your money downtown while the streets are lined with people who are begging and people who are sitting in tents or shelters or on the street corner where there's no place to stay. And we want them to answer it. And one of my real concerns, Tavis, over the last few months, and I don't know how bad it has happened out there on the West Coast. I have had a number of conversations with Mayor Bass out there.
Sure.
But, there has been in America, in Chicago, in Illinois, and I think from the federal government, there has been this speaking about the migrant, the migrant, the migrant, the migrant. And I really believe that has been done on purpose, and I've called out both the mayor and the governor here in Illinois. And what's happened is you now have black and brown fighting each other over crumbs. We've watched black and brown aldermen screaming at each other during a city council meeting because what you're having is so all this money has come in for the migrants, and then what about the homeless that are here right now and the black folks that are on the streets and in tents? And my point has been this is a time to join arms and say to the federal government, deal with the issue of homelessness, not migrant, not black, not white, homelessness, because that's the umbrella that covers everybody, and demand that the federal government do something about it now and not allow them to divide us, which I think what they always love to do, so that we can fight over these crumbs and then they get a pass when the real issue comes with government.
He has laid out his thesis, and I did not want to interrupt because everything I want to talk about, well, not the Cornell West issue. We'll get to that in a second. But everything I want to talk about in this hour, he sort of laid out, and that's why he's the brilliant Michael Flagrant. He does this every Sunday, every week, multiple times at the Faith Community of St. Sabine. I've been there many times, been honored to speak there many times. It's an amazing place, and he's become legendary over the years for his work and witness in the Chicago community, that is. So we'll continue our conversation when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
You're listening to Tavis Smiley. Tavis Smiley. Ranked number 45 on the Heavy 100 list of the 100 most important radio talk show hosts in America.
Hey y'all, Mona Swain here from Target's new YouTube series, My Cart is Full, where we feature Black founders and creators highlighting their connection to our community. As an actor and content creator, I love using my voice to inspire young Black women who look like me. When it comes to feeding my shine, seeing myself reflected in Black-owned and founded products at Target brings me joy. Together, we are Black Beyond Measure. Learn more at target.com/Black Beyond Measure.
Cookie wants to be a professional wrestler. I'm Cookie Serratos, and I'm 11 years old.
She also wants to win all the medals. That's why Cookie and her family make every day count, squeezing out her best with Go-Go Squeeze.
Okay, Cookie, let's break for a Go-Go Squeeze.
Go-Go Squeeze Fruit on the Go pouches are a nutritious snack made from 100% fruit with no sugar added.
Go, Cookie!
Because when you nurture your kids, you squeeze out the best in them. Squeeze out the best with Go-Go Squeeze. Not a low-calorie food. Products range from 11 to 13 grams of sugar and 60 to 70 calories per serving.
KBLA Talk 1580 is the fastest growing talk radio station in Southern California. Home to 50,000 watts and an audience reach of 12 million listeners. KBLA Talk 1580 is a pioneer for black audio content, including our groundbreaking $2 million climate justice campaign and the most loyal, influential audience. According to an independent research study by the polling firm Aviterus, for the second consecutive year, KBLA Talk 1580 is the most trustworthy, reliable, and credible news source for black audiences and beyond in Southern California. Let KBLA Talk 1580 power your advertising dollars. Our omni-channel custom marketing solutions are specifically tailored to connect with your ideal target audience. We leverage audio, podcasts, streaming, digital, social media, and local activations to get your message out to the black community. Get in touch with our advertising team today at advertising@kbla1580.com. That's advertising at kbla1580.com. KBLA 1580. We've got you black.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
He's rooting for everybody black. Everybody black. More of Tavis Smiley coming your way right now.
More of Father Michael Flager coming your way right now. The legendary Catholic priest on the south side of Chicago with St. Sabina is our guest in this hour, talking about a number of issues that he's already teed up, and I want to start to interrogate them now for the rest of this hour. Let me start with this. This is not my first rodeo. It's not your first rodeo. It's not my first convention. I've been covering these things for years, and for that matter, even beyond Democratic or Republican conventions, cities have a way of hiding the homeless, hiding the unhoused. I hear you chuckling already. You know where I'm going. They have a way of hiding the homeless, hiding the unhoused when company comes to town. I've seen it here in L.A. I've seen it in Boston, New York. I've been all around the country for these conventions over the course of my career, and I see it. So that when you get there, they figured out some way to make it illegal. I don't know where they put these people, but all of a sudden these conventions come to town, and you would think there's no homelessness at all in Chicago. There are no unhoused folk in Chicago. They magically and mysteriously just disappear. I suspect that you expect that as well when we get to Chicago this August for the convention.
Absolutely, and you named it right on the head, Tavis, because over the years, and I saw this back in '68 when the '68 convention was here, there's 2 things they do. They put up large fences with block-off areas that look like this horrible blight, and then they'll paint pretty murals on it to make it look nice and beautiful. And the other thing is they choose their routes, the routes that they're going to go, but from in this time, McCormick Place to the United Center. They choose the routes they're going to take, and they make sure that those routes are routes that make Chicago look at its best and it's thriving. You know, it's like the person goes up at the top of the Hancock or the Sears Tower and says, "Oh boy, this is a beautiful looking city." No, get in the car and we take you out what you're looking at from above and show you the reality. But they do it, and what's one of the things we wanted to do with this campaign from now until then is expose it. There's 100,000 people in Chicago, in tents, in shelters, on the street, under bridges, in cardboard boxes. This is the real Chicago. And we're not going to allow them to just say, and we've already gotten some good promises from the media to continue to expose us. We're taking them on a little media bus tour to show them the places that they need to make sure as they're advertising Chicago that this is part of the advertisement. And it's a reality. I mean, and these are folks, and you know the other crazy part of it is that America in general hasn't really given a damn about the homeless because, you know what, they don't vote. And so because they feel I don't have to serve them, I don't have to care about them because they don't vote. So we're also going to be doing this campaign now of getting to register people to vote and trying to take people out to vote for the election. But beyond that, we want to make sure that America knows that this has been a scam and a shame in America. It should be an embarrassment to America. It's an immoral thing that has happened. But we also want to turn it into the political thing that we're not going to allow it to just be hidden behind fences and different routes of transportation.
You mentioned 1968. I'm glad you did. One of the reasons why so many people are anxious to get to Chicago is not just the beautiful skyline and the great food and the great people and all of that, but because there is this sense that many of us feel that 2024 may in many respects mirror 1968. And if you know anything about your history and what happened at that 68 convention in Chicago, it was explosive. And I mean that literally. It was explosive. And so you think of all the issues on the docket and the issue that you're raising now of the unhoused and the migrant workers, et cetera. There is this sense, as I talk to my colleagues around the country, that every one of us wants to be in Chicago because we want to be there when these issues come front and center. Again, give me your sense, since you were there in 68, of how you're viewing 2024 with 68 in the background, Father Pfleger.
Well, I think it could be an absolute repeat. I was very involved in it in 68. In fact, I was tear gassed and hit with a baton down there outside of the Hilton in Grant Park. We were protesting the Vietnam War. And I think that, you look at what's going on right now with Palestine, and you look at the genocide that's taking place there, and you see the violence. With great conversation around the country how it's going down, but the reality is we're going down from heights that are unacceptable. We've had 2 kids coming out of high school in Chicago shot and killed within the last 3 weeks. Last weekend, within a 14-hour period, we had 12 people shot and 6 of them killed. I did a 19-year-old's funeral last week. I have a 15-year-old girl coming up next week. So the anger about this violence, I think the anger about the Palestine, and then the homeless issue and the abandonment of the poor, I think that we could see 68 all over again. And I'm not sure if they really believe in either of these conventions that they can somehow just ignore the realities of people who are mad, particularly young people.
Yeah.
And the other thing, Tavis, from a political issue, there used to be the day and the time when with many young folks it was, let's vote for the lesser of 2 evils.
Yeah.
That's not the mentality now.
Yeah.
If I don't have something to vote for, I'm not voting.
Yeah. Nope, I hear you. Tell me more about your role. I'm fascinated, and I know some of this having known you and been friends for so many years, but tell me a bit more about your role in 68, what you were doing in 68, and why you were down there.
Well, in 68, of course, we were fighting the Vietnam War. I was in charge of the anti-war movement for Loyola University at the time, and where I attended. And we wanted the Democratic Convention to understand you are well, not too much like what's happening today. Yeah. You're funding a war, and you're involved on the ground in a war that is killing people, and it's an unjust war. And we wanted to make sure that they heard that. And I really believe in 68 they felt they could ignore it and go on and have the convention. And I think that many times that's the arrogance of politics sometimes. They feel like we can so protect it, as you mentioned, and blocking out the bad things and controlling it with police and law enforcement, that we can go ahead and have our little party amidst pain and amidst evilness and amidst war that's a reality all around us. And we want to make sure they understand, no, you can't.
Yeah.
You can't just sit here. And the also thing, they told us originally, and we've had some movement, I need to tell you that on the almost thing,
Sure.
is that, we're going to bring it up in the committee and the platforms there at the convention. No. You got to say something before you come here. You got to make a commitment before you come here.
Right.
But I've had a whole lot of conversations. I hate the fact that Secretary Fudge is leaving next week because she has been amazing and tremendous help, and she really has a passion for this issue. We've had led all the way up into the vice president, who is very concerned about it. So we've had some movement. We've had a lot of conversations. We haven't had any, actual commitment of action yet. That's going to have to happen, or we're going to continue to mount it up. We had a demonstration here in Chicago a few weeks ago. They had the Chicago Host Committee was having a dinner downtown about the convention coming. So we had a whole group out there with an information sheet to let them know while you're going in there and talking about the parties, we want you to understand the reality of what we're going to do. We're having another one coming up in April for the Federal Plaza, and we're going to continue to mount this and either put pressure on them to do the right thing and come out and make a commitment, or, understand that we will be part of the group out there throwing rocks at the windows till you hear us.
Yeah. Let me ask you, there are a few things you said I want to unpack here. Let me start with this. It seems to me that we have gotten anesthetized in this country to the murder of our babies. It happens far too frequently, and because it happens so often, I think we've, again, become sort of numb to it, anesthetized to it. But when you said moments ago that you eulogized a 19-year-old last week, you're going to eulogize a 15-year-old next week, that hit me. Let me ask just a personal question. As a priest, as the person in charge of eulogizing these young people, these babies, in fact, how do you process your way through that on a regular basis? Sadly.
Well, I'll be very honest with you, very difficult, and it gets me very depressed. I believe, Tavis, that the most evil, visible thing in life to me is to see a child in a casket. There's just something about that's the face of evil to me, that this child, with all his or her potential and possibility, is in a casket because of the society that has allowed violence becoming, as you mentioned, normalized.
Yeah.
As though we got to accept this in this country. We're the only country in the world, in the entire world, that has more guns than people. And every time you start to talk about, it is one of the things, and I've had this for 3 mayoral, administrations, and still not getting anywhere. But I'm trying to understand why we don't teach peacemaking, conflict resolution, leadership in amongst peers in peacing, and making right choices from preschool to senior year of high school in this country. Why is that not part of our curriculum? That's a captive audience that we can help create peacemakers amongst our youth. I don't understand why we can't do that. I don't understand why when young people do get arrested, like it happened here with mob crowds and the rest, and they arrest them waiting for their parents to come. Why are we not going into that room and talking to those young people and say, listen, where did we miss it? What are we not getting? How are we not met you? How are we not cared for you? How we got to this point where you're out in the street? We had a mob thing here 3 or 4 weeks ago. We had a couple of warm days. About 200 kids are downtown at Roosevelt and Canal. And sure enough, in the midst of it at some point, guns go off, one person gets killed, another kid gets wounded. Why are we not? I know we talk, and I believe in data and get all the stuff and research from the past and data we find out around the country. But this is present data. We can sit with them and talk with them. How did you get here? How do we stop this? How do we change this? How do we help you realize how valuable you are? No kid went down there in the intention of getting shot, but it happens. But I don't think we're listening and trying to get the answers from them. I don't think we're doing the things we need to do in the communities. I don't think the churches and the faith communities are talking about it. I think we are missing so much, and then we just shake our heads and moan and cry when children are getting shot and killed. I moan and I cry.
Yeah.
But then I say, what do we do next? What do we do better? Let's keep throwing stuff against the wall and see what sticks.
I've got 2 minutes here. We can continue this when we come forward. But I got 2 minutes right now for you to start this answer at least. I'm sensitive to this issue. I'm sensitive because I get sick of the folk on the right always using Chicago, the city of Chicago, as a pinata, a political pinata. Right. Everybody beats up on Chicago and talks about crime in Chicago as if it's the only place there's crime in this country. And you know this, my friends know this, Chicago's my favorite city. I love the city of Chicago, this issue notwithstanding. And so when you're on national radio like you are right now talking about this can't make Mayor Brandon Johnson happy or others because it gives the city of Chicago another black eye. How do you respond to that criticism?
Well, what makes me so angry is they're saying that, we have some of the strictest gun laws in the country in Chicago, and look at all this violence. Well, I think there's two things I would say to that. Number one, and I'll do real quickly, one is that we have decades of abandonment in the west and the south sides, decades. And that's no longer acceptable. We've got to do investment. We've got to do economic investment. We've got to take care of communities. We've got to take care of housing. So we've got to do that so we don't have the tale of two cities. But second of all, yes, we have strict gun laws, but I could get in my car right now and drive 15 minutes across the border of Indiana and get anything I want without anybody checking me for anything. Mm-hmm. And the same thing goes on with Milwaukee. So until we have some federal regulation of background checks and of ban on assault weapons, until that happens, saying we have strict laws in Chicago doesn't mean a thing if you can get in your car and drive 15 minutes to get whatever you want.
Why do you think, I got 60 seconds here, why do you think the South Side and the West Side in Chicago have been abandoned so perennially? And I asked that against the backdrop, and you know this, you live there, you just raised it. You've had a succession of black mayors. Why is the South Side and the West Side so perennially overlooked?
Well, I'll tell you, I'll answer you like Dr. King said. Dr. King said that we integrated bus counters, we integrated stores, we integrated the train lines and the bus lines. He said, and it didn't cost America nothing. We integrated being able to vote, didn't cost America nothing. But if we're going to bring an economic reality to this country, it's going to cost trillions. And unfortunately, this is a country that still today is so racist that she does not believe in spending money on black and brown people. She'd rather send money to Ukraine and Israel than into the south and the west sides of Chicago and America.
Nothing like a priest who just does not hold his tongue. And this is why he's become legendary in Chicago and beyond. He's Father Michael Pfleger. He leads the faith community of St. Sabina. If you're ever in Chicago, want to have a great church service and hear a great sermon, and just experience a Catholic church like you've never experienced it, I encourage you to go to St. Sabina. The choir and all that, even in a Catholic church, they rock that thing out at St. Sabina every Sunday. I encourage you to check it out. We'll continue our conversation with Father Michael Pfleger when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Seeking the truth, speaking the truth. This is the Tavis Smiley Show.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know the United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time? Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. The man accused of killing 3 family members in Pennsylvania is being formally charged. Authorities say Andre Gordon killed his stepmother and teenage sister with an AR-15 style assault rifle Saturday morning, then killed the mother of his 2 children at another home. He fled New Jersey in a stolen vehicle where he barricaded himself inside a house and was eventually arrested. The African-American suspect faces 3 counts of first and second-degree murder, among other charges. Now to the Mega Millions jackpot, where lottery officials say the grand prize has jumped to an estimated $875 million for Tuesday's drawing. Meanwhile, the Powerball jackpot will be worth an estimated $645 million for Monday's drawing. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Compassion sponsorship means food, health care, education, and more for a child in poverty. And there are thousands of kids who've been waiting over a year and their wait. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Text the word radio to 83393.
Is this the tackle? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Congratulations to the USC women's basketball team. USC is one of 4 number 1 seeds in the NCAA women's tournament. The Trojans, number 1 in Region 3, are a top seed for the first time since 1986. Their first round matchup is Friday at home against Texas A&M Corpus Christi. UCLA's women's team is the number 2 seed in Region 2. The Bruins open up at home Friday against California Baptist. 2 HBCU schools are in the women's tournament: MEAC champion Norfolk State and SWAC champion Jackson State. Norfolk State plays Stanford. Jackson State takes on UConn. There are also 2 HBCU schools in the NCAA men's tournament. MEAC champion Howard will play Wagner in a play-in game Tuesday in Dayton, Ohio. Grambling is in the NCAA tournament for the first time in school history. The SWAC champs face Montana State on Wednesday. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Tavis Smiley Show is now syndicated all across America, from Los Angeles to New York City, and plenty of places in between. But only in LA can you hear Tavis Smiley when it's convenient for you, 9 a.m. or 9 p.m. Take your pick. It's Tavis Smiley on the 9s, only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Join the Dodgers on Monday, April 1st at 7:10 p.m. against the San Francisco Giants, where the first 40,000 fans in attendance will receive a Fernando Valenzuela jersey, courtesy of Bank of America. For tickets and more information, visit Dodgers.com/promotion.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminding you that we keep us safe. Pro Football Hall of Famer and urban peace pioneer Jim Brown believed in just that. So he founded the Amera I Can Foundation for Social Change in 1988, focusing on at-risk and high-risk youth in underserved schools and juvenile detention facilities, as well as adult incarceration and reentry initiatives. The core of the Amera I Can program is its 15-chapter life skills curriculum. Mastery of these skills allows individuals to meet their academic potential, conform their behavior to acceptable societal standards, and improve the quality of their lives by equipping them with what they need to confidently and successfully contribute to society. Today, the foundation is led by its president, Monique Brown, who has been actively involved in the organization for more than 25 years. The Amera I Can Foundation continues its work in memory of its founder, actor, philanthropist, and NFL legend Jim Brown. To get involved or make a donation, please visit AmeriICanCommunity.partners. That's AmeriICanCommunity.partners. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hey, I have a secret. I use Secret Whole Body Deodorant because more than just my armpits stink.
Oh, can I use it where my bra rubs under my...
Oh, yeah.
And what about down there? You know, my...
Totally. 4 out of 5 gynecologists would recommend it. So I tried it, and now I get 72 hours of freshness from my pits to my...
Ooh, I love that it's a spray.
Me too. And it comes in sticks and creams, too. Go get your Secret Whole Body Deodorant.
If you're looking for the most epic place on Earth, let's start at the base of a massive waterfall. Then trek through the thick jungle. Then climb to the peak of a snowy mountaintop. Then once you get there, keep going. Because with intelligent 4x4 and 7 drive modes and a Nissan Pathfinder, the search is the real adventure.
Available feature. Intelligent 4x4 cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions.
More honesty than you can handle. More empowerment than you can imagine. You're tuned in to Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Father Michael Flager, who leads the faith community of St. Sabina on the south side of Chicago, legendary, iconic priest, and we are honored to have him on this program as he continues his work and witness of speaking truth to power and to the powerless, for that matter. The Democratic Convention headed to Chicago this summer, as you all know. I'll be there broadcasting live every day, and so I'm looking forward to another trip to Chicago, one of my favorite cities. And yet there are all kinds of issues in the city of Chicago that Father Michael Flager sees that ought to be higher on the political agenda, higher on the docket. And as he put it, this is a window of opportunity to raise those issues higher on the agenda for discussion. We've been talking about some of those, including the unhoused in Chicago, almost 100,000 people unhoused, 68,000 residents, and 36,000 migrants. And speaking of migrants, before I get into this issue of these migrants becoming the new slave labor in Chicago, taking jobs away from black folk and others, before I get to that piece of the puzzle that you've been talking, again, very courageously about and publicly about in the city of Chicago, first of all, I just want to back up for a second and get your thoughts on these Republican governors down south and even out west here who've been putting these migrants on buses and sending them to places like New York and Chicago. That's got to help, sadly, increase this number of unhoused migrants now sitting at 36,000 in the city of Chicago. But politically, socially, culturally, spiritually, how do you read these Republican governors putting these precious souls on buses and sending them to places like Chicago? They get off the bus, they don't know where they are, they don't know what they're doing there. They just got put on a bus and dropped off in the middle of Chicago.
Well, we've had people come to our door, Tavis, ringing our doorbell, say, I just got off a bus. Where am I? What city I am? What community I am? Help me.
Wow.
That's exactly what's happening to so many. I mean, I said to the Biden administration, and I said to Young Moore, who's over the Democratic National Convention, why are there not something done by the Department of Transportation to stop this and to understand this is nothing more than human trafficking? Mm-hmm. That's all that it is. It's human trafficking. It's putting people on buses. And many times, as the migrants here who we've talked with, we have about 120 to 150 both migrants and Chicago homeless that come to our doors right now every single morning for food, for bus cars that we're taking care of every single day. We're spending about $12,000 a week right now on trying to give people food and bus cars who come to our doors. But the reality is that this man, and don't think between now and the Democratic Convention, watch and see those weeks before. You think we're getting busloads now. He is going to send them here because he knows this is going to be a national highlight here and a Democratic state, Democratic city. And he's human trafficking people and using them as pawns for his own political agenda. Shame on him. Shame for the Republicans not condemning it. Shame on our own administration right now, Department of Transportation, not finding a way to stop this. And that we as America aren't outraged that people are being put on buses, don't know where they're at, where they're going, with nothing. Mm-hmm. We had our police station here contact us where they dropped off one day a few weeks ago. They said, Father Mike, can you help us? We just had 30 people dropped off here by a bus, at 10 o'clock in the morning who had not had any food for 16 hours. And they said now they were told by the city here they couldn't get food over them until 8 o'clock that night. And some of them are children. So we went out and bought food and brought it over there for them to eat. That's the kind of inhumane ways people are being treated in this so-called country. And they lied to them, telling them, many of them, when they got on these buses, we're sending you to Chicago or wherever because this is where people are going to take care of this. We're going to get your chance to work. This is where you're going to get housing. And just plain lied to people, building up their hopes in order to try to look for something better for themselves.
So one of the ways that the politicians have started to address this inside the state of Illinois, they have, to your point, have not figured out a way to stop these buses from coming. But when they get there, there have been efforts legislatively to Father Mike, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, okay. I don't know what happened there. Just the devil trying to get in our conversation.
Yeah,
the devil is a lie. The devil is a lie.
He sure is.
He's a lie. He ain't trying to hear this truth.
He's a good one, though.
Yeah, he's a good one. We gonna get this truth out, man. This truth is gonna get out.
You better believe it.
Yeah, you better believe that. So let me just say this: that the politicians have not been able to figure out how to stop the buses. To your point, the Department of Transportation should have done something about this, it seems to me, by now. But the point is that when they get there, one of the ways that they are trying to address this is to fast track employment opportunities for these migrants. And you've raised this issue powerfully. If ultimately this pits one group against another, I'll let you explain it.
Well, what I said to the governor's office is, while we're trying to say that we want to fast track work permits for people to be able to work, what are you putting in place? Because not only we talked about it, it is happening, and happening in a whole different variety of ways. First of all, I had a couple of migrants come to me who had been picked up outside one of the big box stores, and so like people are lining up, they're looking for work. Pick them up, they take them to go do some work for the day. A guy picked up two of them, brought them to his work at 9 o'clock in the morning to his home. They didn't know where they were, what suburb they were in, nothing. They worked till 7:30 that night. Brought him back over to where he picked them up at the big box store and dropped them off and gave them $10 each. Now, what are they going to do? Call police? They have no work permits. They don't even know where they were. They don't know the name of the place. So, so we're going to see people just exploited. There's also been in some of the suburbs here where there's a lot of these large companies that are doing manufacturing so now if Tavis Smiley said, well, you've been late for work twice in the last week, so we're going to have to let you go. And they're looking for every way to let people go so they can hire some of these migrants at $4 and $5 an hour and use that for slave labor and save money to make more money for themselves. So I've said to the governor's office, what are you putting in place that's going to be a heavy hand to say, when we find this out, when we get exposed, whether it's individuals or whether it's companies that are going to be firing black people and hiring brown people for slave labor, what are you going to put in place to do that? We're still waiting to have something put in place. And you're going to see this continue to happen because business will exploit anybody they can for bigger profits. We all know that. This is America. They've done it since slavery, and they will use anybody they can to get rich. And we're saying if there's not something in place, you are not only going to cause more black people to be put out of work. Staffing agencies are doing now. We're seeing black folks not able to get jobs in the staffing because they're taking brown folks. The same thing as some of these manufacturing companies. And nothing is being put in place to protect people.
I've said many times that the condition of truth is to allow the suffering to speak. The condition of truth is to allow the suffering to speak. And if nobody speaks to the suffering, then that very suffering gets rendered invisible. And so thankfully there's Father Michael Flager who refuses to allow that suffering to be rendered invisible, and I'm honored to have him on this program right now.
Hope, agency, dignity. This is Tavis Smiley.
Can you dig it? Come on!
What is dedication?
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that my kids wouldn't have a father. And I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. I definitely had to become a better man to be a better father. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Joey from Vermont, a farmer trying to get through the winter. Adriana from South Carolina, a single mother living paycheck to paycheck. Liam from Ohio, an injured father struggling to provide for his family. Hi, I'm Shanola Hampton, and I support the Feeding America network of food banks because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
In the heart of California, where innovation thrives, access to high-speed internet is important to every family and business. Cal Broadband is the state's leading expert in the development and deployment of broadband infrastructure. Each day, we work to help advance the right policies that will expand the opportunities of reliable, high-speed internet to every community in our Golden State. Cal Broadband is working hard to connect California. Visit calbroadband.org for more information. That's calbroadband.org.
The thing no one tells you about periods is that your flow changes every day, and so should your tampon size. Tampax has 5 absorbencies to match your changing flow. If it hurts to remove, go down a size. If it leaks, go up a size. Only Tampax has a leak guard braid to help give you up to 100% leak and odor-free protection. All-day comfort and protection for under $5 a month. Based on average U.S. consumer usage at manufacturer's suggested price. However, pricing is at the sole discretion of the retailer. Excludes 8-count.
Hey, what are you doing up on the step stool?
About to clean these light fixtures. The whole family's coming over, and if there's even a speck of dust in the house, my abuela will find it.
Here, I got a Swiffer duster to help with that.
A Swiffer what?
A Swiffer duster. It has this cool extendable handle that reaches 6 feet to get high and low, with fluffy dusters that easily trap and lock dust.
So, no more step stool?
No more step stool.
Easily trap and lock dust from hard-to-reach places with the Swiffer duster. Love it or your money back.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Helping to make you the most knowledgeable person in your circle of friends. This is Tavis Smiley.
Father Michael Flager is our...
What's your quarrel with the world?
Father Michael Flager is our guest in this hour, and I'm pleased to have him on this program. We were just talking moments ago about how these migrants are, in many respects, if something isn't put in place, being pitted against everyday black folk who are working at $15 and $16 an hour jobs, who might very easily be replaced by those who can get away with paying these migrant workers far less and exploiting them. One of the many issues on the docket in the city of Chicago, where we are headed this summer for the Democratic National Convention. I could have raised this issue earlier because it happened last month, or actually didn't happen last month, but the story is still out there, and I want to get your take on it. So Cornel West, your friend and my friend, has spoken. He's laughing already. He has spoken at St. Sabina for 25 years, every Black History Month, and as you well know, a number of those appearances, I was there with him. So I've been in the audience and participated with my two brothers, Father Mike and Dr. West, as we celebrate our friendship, our brotherhood, and this annual major address that Dr. West gives at St. Sabina. So this year, you were told by the Cardinal that was not going to happen. I started this program almost an hour ago saying that if Father Mike ain't in trouble with the Archdiocese, something is wrong. not right, but something is wrong if he ain't said or done something to get him in trouble with the Archdiocese. You are the most resilient man I know. I have never known anybody as resilient as you to keep fighting and keep speaking truth, and I love it. What happened on the Cornel West thing, man?
Well, here's what's so crazy. First of all, on the Thursday, he had been assigned to come here and committed to come here for months.
Right.
It had been public for months. The Thursday before Dr. West was coming, I get a call from somebody outside. So the Cardinal says he can't come. on Sunday because he's running for president, and we don't allow candidates running for president to come to speak in our pulpits.
Right.
And I told him, I said, you got to be kidding me. Tell me this is some kind of a joke. And I said, first of all, he's not coming here to talk about running for president. He's coming here to talk about black history. He's the preeminent speaker of African-American history in this country. This is the first Sunday of Black History Month. Go back and tell him this is just absurd, and this is going to really be more bad for him than it is anybody else. They called me back Friday afternoon, told me, he said, absolutely not. He's not allowed to come. So I said, well, what if he comes anyway? And they said, if he comes anyway, he will be suspended on Monday. So, I was embarrassed. I was angry, but I put out a statement saying the fact that how ridiculous this was.
Right.
And I also put out saying that, well, I wonder if President Biden was coming to such a Sunday. If I would receive the same call, and he's running for office also. Of course, I never got a response. The Cardinal hasn't talked to me about it since.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. But again, it's the double standard that goes on continue. We have politicians running for office come in Protestant and in Catholic pulpits all the time. We don't let anybody get in our pulpit and ask them to vote for them. We've never allowed that.
Right.
Now, we'll say they can come to church, people can talk to him afterwards,
Yeah.
but are you kidding me? Because he's running for president, I don't even think he's on any ballots anywhere. And I told them that. I said, but the fact that he's running for president is stopping talk on black history from somebody like Dr. Cornel West.
Yeah.
Shame on the Archdiocese, shame on the Cardinal, but unfortunately this is the reality of that constant seeking of control, and one more blatant example of the double standards that go on in this country and in this church.
What can I just say other than what can I say other than this is why I love Father Mike. I just love him. Ain't nothing he can do about it. Our remaining moments with him when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
What's your quarrel with the world? You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
My daughter was diagnosed with a rare malignant rhabdoid tumor on the spine. They sent her straight to St. Jude. My hope was gone. But when you get there, everyone's like, hey, we're not going to give up. And when you see other people not giving up on your child, that makes all the difference in the world. When I found out I didn't have to pay, I was just grateful. They saved my baby's life.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
So you just used bug spray in your home. Now what? Well, between the waiting and waiting for things to dry up and keeping your family away from the mess, it hits you. You could have used Zevo. Unlike other bug sprays that stick around, Zevo goes from kill to clean in seconds. Plus, it's safe for use around people and pets when used as directed. Zevo, people-friendly, bug-deadly.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
The
Febreze.
So my home is also my office. And before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up, then spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day.
Breathe happy, Febreze. La 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 la.
Made fresh daily in the Mert Park, Los Angeles, California. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Father Michael Flager, at least for the next 3 minutes. That's all I have left. I could talk to him for hours. I enjoy his company so much. Father Mike, let me just ask you, given all these fights that you are in, not just with the archdiocese, but with the city, with the state, with the nation, on behalf of those who have been and remain disenfranchised politically, economically, socially, and culturally. How are you in this present moment sustaining your hope, sir?
Well, Tavis, I always tell people, because I'm a Christian, I'm a prisoner of hope.
Mm-hmm.
Unless I get up and God says I quit, I'm going to get up and fight another day, because I read the end of the book and we win. Justice wins. Love wins. Prejudice loses. Hate loses. Peace wins. But I do think it is a time for people of conscience to come together. Black, white, brown, yellow. This is a time for folks to come together of conscience and wake up and get up and get aggressive. Get off your knees from praying and get up now and make the word flesh. My sermon Easter Sunday is going to be, it doesn't have to be like this. And that's what I really believe. It does not have to be like this. If we wake up and do what we're supposed to do, we can turn this thing around, and we can put white supremacy in the grave that it belongs in, and prejudice and racism, and homophobia and poverty. We can put them in the grave instead of us keep sleeping in the grave. Wake up, get up. Jesus got up, told us to get up. And let's understand that we can beat this thing. Don't become hopeless. Don't become despairing. But understand that he gave us the power. It's time to use it.
As we say in the black church, that'll preach, Father Mike. That'll preach. That'll
we
preach,
gotta
man.
Get you back over here, Tavis. I'm gonna be reaching out to you.
No, anytime I'm invited to St. Sabina, I'll be there. Matter of fact, I ought to get there for Easter service to hear that sermon, man. I love I love the frame. We're gonna put homelessness. We're gonna put poverty. We're gonna put racism. We're gonna put white supremacy in the grave.
In the grave.
Yeah, because the grave is empty. He got up and came out of that tomb. So
yeah, now the grave is empty.
There you go. It'll preach. Father Michael Flager leads the faith community of St. Sabina on the south side of Chicago, as I said earlier in this conversation, and here's the evidence right here. If you're ever in Chicago and you want to attend a great service, you will not be disappointed going to St. Sabina. Father Mike, I love you. I'll talk to you soon, my friend. All the best to you.
I love you, brother. Thanks so much.
Thank you, sir.
You.
More Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
The man accused of killing 3 family members in Pennsylvania is being formally charged. Authorities say Andre Gordon killed